the largest organizations today. You know, I mean, they outnumber everybody by the millions. They're in about probably 20 countries in Africa. We got, 50-something states here. They're in about 45 of them. You know, so it's a really large Israelite organization, but they're Messianic. When I was about 5 years old, our spiritual leader, Mother Deli, Most High Rest her spirit, she actually made the transition. So I remember a prayer my imam used to say to us when we were young. It was to be said, "Keep me covered with your blood all night long." And that was literally a prayer I remember saying like 4 or 5 years old. But as my imam transitioned out of the Messianic order into the oneness of the Creator, we lost, Mother Deli lost about half a congregation.
Right.
Okay, and now in Philly, there's about 6 congregations that stemmed from the congregation we were a part of. Okay, and a lot of them went and started. You got the Temple Shalom. You got a number of congregations in Philadelphia that stemmed from us because a lot of them wasn't with that letting go of the man on the stick. And so we learned a lot about the oneness. And then even as 10 years went on, we lost another group because not everybody, some people really kept it low key that they were still worshiping, you know, holding on to the Savior. It was a man, but they really didn't come. Some people didn't come out with it. And then it was later that you lose another group. But I respect the Creator, and I thank her, not only because she was a woman, and I'm glad that I learned from a woman, you know, because a lot of times as men, we don't give women their props. And so I thank the Creator for the woman I learned from. And she was a strong woman. And so she was able to take a stand in the Creator and teach us about the oneness. She drilled that. I mean, I can tell you like almost every scripture that got to do with the oneness. Because that was something we would drill home about, okay? And so I thank the Creator for her. And for my imam, she made sure that I got 11, 12 brothers and sisters. And so growing up, it was 8 of us. My imam made sure that we all sat down. And every night, no matter whether we was 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, my imam got us up in the morning, 6 o'clock prayer. Okay, we was there on the edge of her bed. She taught us how to pray until we could do what? Pray ourselves. You see, and so I thank the Creator for her. And but my roots, it stems back from my great-grandmother. Her name was Lady Baxter. She was one of the chief women in the House of God organization. Right now, their headquarters is in Lexington, Kentucky. And I'm going to try to pick the lineage out there. I got a cousin. He did the whole write-up on it, but it stems back to the late 1800s, early 1900s. And they were, again, Messianics. They still are, unfortunately. So it's kind of difficult for me growing up with a lot of my family. Like my mother had 14 brothers and sisters, all Hebrews. Okay, so I go to Cincinnati where my parents were kind of born, and I used to have to go to 4 congregations. Literally go to 4 congregations. 3 hours here, we gotta go here. Another congregation over here because there was just so many of us. My grandmother, her name was Lady Stacks. Okay. Frances Stack. She was a great woman. And what happened was my mother moved from Cincinnati, where she was born and raised, to Philadelphia. And that's because I had an aunt that came from Cincinnati to Philadelphia some years before her. And so my Abba also was raised in Cincinnati. So him and my imam were childhood sweethearts. So when he got out of college, you know, he came and found my imam in Philadelphia. And they married and they had all of us. So I was blessed to be born in this culture. I tell you what, that saying that says train up a child in the way they should go and he won't depart from it is true. Okay? Because I did the streets too, you know, doing everything we all did. But guess what? The Creator still had his hand on me. You see, he'll let you go, but so far. So when y'all spend your time with y'all Yaladim, your children, it's not for nothing. It's sticking. It's sticking. It may not seem like it, but it's sticking. I'm telling you, it's sticking. Even when I was 15, and my imam kicked me out the house at 15 and sent me to go to Cincinnati to live, right? I was on my Abba side, not too many of them were Hebrews, right? But even still there, guess what? 15 by myself, keeping Passover. You see what I'm saying? By myself. Ain't nobody watching to see what I was doing. But it's ingrained in you, it's ingrained in you. And even when you're an adult, you go astray. The Creator got a way of having his hand on you. And so I just give the Creator all the thanks and praise for my culture and for my lineage. I thank the Creator even for a lot of our people that are waking up. Because whether you wake up 5 years ago, whether you woke up 10 years ago, hey, the race is not given to the swift, nor to the strong, right? But to those that endure to the end. And that's all of our goal. We don't care how you were brought, but it's more or less Can somebody read for me Psalms 1, first chapter, verses 1 through 3? And I'm going to show you how this applies. This is a good reading. Psalms Tehillim, the first chapter, verses 1 through 3. Just 3 verses. And this applies to our roots. It's a really good scripture. 1 verses 1 through 3. Rebecca.
Okay. Happy is the man who walked not in the counsel of the wicked.
Okay.
And stood not in the path of the sinful.
Okay, speak a little louder. I keep Rebecca shot. Hey, my email used to make, look, no offense. What my email used to do, after we made prayer when we was little, she would have us read scripture, right? We sat down, she popped us and made us stand up and read the word of Yah. You had to respect the word of Yah. Because, I mean, and there's no offense to my brother, because there's nothing wrong with sitting down relaxing, but I'm just telling you how my email, she ain't play that. And after a while, I was a little like, huh? But I grew up doing the same thing, my children. Get up, respect the word of Yah. Hey, it'll stick. It'll stick. So I ain't gonna hit you, bro, but I appreciate it.
We got security here.
Okay. All right, once again. Happy is the man who walked not in the counsel of the wicked.
Okay, and in some people's book it say ungodly, but that word is Rashah. And Rashah means the wicked.
And stood not in the path of the sinful.
Okay.
And sat not in the session of scorners.
Uh-huh.
But his desire is in Torah of Yah.
Okay.
And in his Torah he meditates day and night.
Day and night. Do y'all know what Yitzchak was doing, y'all, when he met a good wife?
Meditate.
He was in the field doing what? Meditating. You know why? Because if he had his mind on Yah and he was meditating, right? When he seen a good woman, he didn't know what she looked like because his mind was on Yah, right? And to marry anybody and have a successful relationship, you got to first be married to who?
Yeah.
To the Creator. Time sheet.
He shall be like a tree deeply planted alongside.
Tree! Now, if you 50 or older in here, stand up, please. 50 or older. 50 or older. 50 or older. Look at this. Hallelujah. Hey, clap it up. Y'all the trees. Show me now, Rebecca shot. But y'all the trees. And it's beautiful being a tree. You see? A tree means you sturdy. You found it. You rooted down. That's a tree. Okay, what else?
Okay, he shall be like a tree deeply planted alongside brooks of water.
Okay.
That yields its fruit in its season.
Now if you under 50, stand up. Look, we the fruit. We the fruit of these trees. So now y'all for the fruit. We the fruit. Now, what's inside of a fruit? Seeds. You can have a seed. Seeds. Right? This reminds me of me and my brother Moreh Yoel, right? This is something that me and him always talk about. We talk about that word fruition. Fruition means fruit. Fruit is the word fruition. Well, what do they call fruit at a market? Starts with a P. Produce. Right? Why do they call it produce? Because to produce means to what? To bring forth seed. And that's what the fruits and vegetables are doing. So that's physical. But so our parents, y'all the trees, we the fruit. But that's just not physical. Because what do we produce in each other's mind, right? Fruition creates thoughts, right? To bring something into fruition. It's to take it from thought to physical being. You see? So I thank the Creator for the roots. And the roots we come from that create these good fruits. And the good fruit creates what? Good seeds, right? Because according to Torah, we can't eat no fruit that don't have no what? Seeds. Okay. So I just thank the Creator for our generations growing up and for our roots. And we got to continue to be proud of that. When I was growing up, you couldn't find an Israelite. You know, you couldn't. You know, in the 90s, the 80s, you couldn't find one. I mean, and if you found one, it was like, yo, where you go? Where you from?
Keep skipping
And then,
the 60s and 70s.
I think the 60s and 70s. Like, and so, you know, you would get in trouble if you associated with someone if you did find them. And so we at that generation now when the Creator's opened up the floodgates. He's doing what he said in the book of Yoel. He's pouring out his spirit upon his sons and his daughters. And we're dreaming dreams and we're seeing visions. And also upon the prophet and the handmaid in those days where he poured out his spirit. And so we're seeing his spirit open the floodgates. Okay. Social media. You know, we are about millions now. We are proud of who we are. And that's a beautiful thing. And so I thank the elder for giving us time to talk about our roots. And I'm happy to talk about them. I'm proud to talk about them now. You know what I mean? When me and my brothers and sisters used to go out to Shabbat class, we kind of like sneak out, so your friends couldn't see you going out with your garbs and suit on. You know, so it's a beautiful thing now to be proud of who we are and to talk about these roots. We gotta give honor to our elders. We have to. We cannot be a tree or fruit without y'all. We're gonna grow into trees. My elder, I gotta give honor to more of my elders. I'm sorry, I have to. One of my first elders that I feel really hit home to me was an elder called Rabbi Windsor. And a lot of y'all know Professor Rudolph Windsor, right? But what y'all don't know is his brother.
Cold.
His brother is, to me, more studious than him, more knowledgeable, and he was more spiritual based. You see, Rudolph was into the history. His brother Cole, I think they're like a year or two apart. He's 83 right now. Okay, he was into Torah and traditions and things of that nature. So at 15 years old, he visited my congregation, y'all. And I love telling the story. And so Rabbi Windsor, he walks in, you know, all prestigious. And there I was, this broke 15-year-old, you know, looking around lost, right? I was born in this place he visited. So he was selling books, you know. And I think the book was Judea Children of Rome, or one of those books that were one of the original ones, right? And I wanted the book really bad, right? 15 years old. And so I was like, hey, Elder, you know, I love to have that book. How much is it? I think he was like about $12, $10. And I probably had like a 50 cents to rub in my pocket, right? And I was like, well, Elder, I ain't got no money, but the book is nice. So, you know, so he gave me the book, you know what I mean? And that meant so much to me, you know? And to this day, this elder, if you go on my page on Facebook, Dr. Moreh Yoel or Moreh Yoel, Israel, you'll actually see I recently put up pictures of my elders. I have to. One of my other elders is Zakane Elnathan. Elder, you were talking about her earlier, right? We just connected. You were talking about her earlier. Zakane Elnathan was one of the first that really was doing lectures against Messianics. And wrote a lot of literature back in like the 70s and the 60s. Okay, he wrote a lot of that literature. That's my elder. You know, he taught me a lot of information I know today on the calendar, on Hebrew, you know, and so I had some really, really good elders. Saw Rabbi, another one of my elders. I had some really good elders. I had Elder Matthews, Rabbi Matthews. You had Rabbi Bess. I'm just trying to name their names. Rabbi Burno. You know, you had just a number of elders I remember that were men I could look up to and women I could look up to that were strong in this culture even to this day. So I praise y'all, and I'm honored and I'm grateful to stand on their shoulders. You know, and standing on the shoulders of our elders, we have a clear vision, right? And our job is to bring them along with us. So I got a book coming out on Passover, right? So I asked my elder, I said, hey, you gave me this idea to bring forth, because a lot of people don't know in Passover certain things we can't have. Chametz, Seor, you get into the Hebrew. See, we stick in the English, you said you called it the Feast of Unleavened Bread. But don't you know unleavened bread could be a beverage? I'll give you a clue. You put down the bread because it has what in it?
Yeast.
Well, why pick up beer if it has yeast in it?
Oh, come on, not beer.
You see? Why pick up the wine if it has yeast in it? So y'all ain't gonna tell you, don't eat the yeast, but you can drink it. Don't make sense. Right? So with my elder, he came up with the idea of how to properly keep Passover. And at first it was a foreign idea. People was like, get out of here. They threw it away. I took it and I gravitated to it. I brought it to my elders. Guess what they told me? Get out of here. But now those same elders are now saying, hey, can you do this lecture on this? You see, I'm standing on their shoulders. And when you stand on their shoulders, you have a clear view, right? So what I did to my elders, I said, look, I'm coming out with this book, but I want you to do an intro for it. You see, I want you to do some writings in it. Because it's not about the popularity. It's not about saying, okay, I'm going forth and it's Yoel. Nah, we're about the elders that were the bridge that I crossed over on. You see what I'm saying? We got to bring them with us. And so that's important. And that's why I say I don't like to be around no young brothers that self-taught. As soon as the brother taught me, hey, y'all taught me everything I know, I got to run from you. You see, and if you ain't got no elders, I also got to run. Because who do you have the answer to? You see, nobody. You can just do what you want, say what you want. Who are you teachable? You know, that's important today. Being teachable, no matter what your age is. Are you teachable? And one of the best ways to tell if a person is teachable is knowing what? They're teachers. You see? And so I thank you again for this opportunity to speak, and always praising Yah for all things. And one more thing I'm mentioning, I'm going to sit down. I had a kidney transplant almost 5 months ago. And so, you know, I was, for 3 years, I was on like dialysis for 1.5 years. And my life had took a real spiral downward. You know, I lost wives, I lost cars, I lost houses, I lost everything. The Creator took everything from me. Okay, everything. And mind you, I thought I was living pretty decent and spiritual when this was happening. So I'm like, whoa, y'all, what's going on? I'm 40-something, and I'm on now. I used to be able to run around the block. Now I kind of sit down every 5 steps. And now I had to sit in the center and have my blood drawn out for 4 hours, 3 days a week. I went through hell, you see? But one of the things that I held on to is that no matter what it was, I was going to let go or lose. I was not going to let go of Yah. You see, I was not going to lose Yah. You see, and I was already planning to go. I had to start picking up extra students. I had to start teaching extra classes. It was time to tell people, like, look, I got some young children I need y'all to teach. When I'm gone, I was just setting things in order, right? Because I already had died 3 times. I was paralyzed for 2 days. I had congestive heart failure. I had everything going through dialysis. My life, I'm telling you. And I lived my life online where people could see, because I wanted it to be an experience for people to see that no matter what, you still hold on to Yah. No matter what's going on in your life, hold on to Yah. No matter what, you see? And so Yah took me through that. And I'm going to tell you this quick story, and I'm going to sit down. I was here in Atlanta, y'all. This was 4 months ago. I came to see my cousin in Stockbridge, right? And I really ain't tell this story yet. I promise I can keep long to sit down. And so I came to Stockbridge. My cousin, she was one of, I got a lot of brothers and sisters. Nobody was donating a kidney, y'all. Nobody. I got 300 plus cousins on just one side of my family. All Hebrews. Nobody was donating a kidney. You see, I had people saying they would, but when it came down to it, I had a cousin, one female cousin that went and got tested. She knew she was probably not going to make it, but the fact that she still took the effort to say, let them turn me down, I love her for that. I had another cousin, her name was Stephanie. She lived here in Stockbridge. She was going to do it, okay? And so I was here in Atlanta 4.5 months ago. That's when I had the kidney transplant. And I came here. My Ishai was driving, and it took us, this was on Labor Day. This is May. Labor Day weekend, coming here from Charlotte to Atlanta, right?
Memorial.
Memorial, right? And so it took us, normally take 4 hours to get here to Atlanta. It took us 8 hours, right? So my cousin, she was expecting us. This was like a comedy on a Thursday. And so I'm calling. She's like, you on your way? We're like, yeah, we're on our way. So as soon as we got like an hour from Atlanta, I said, look, I can't come to your house. She was like, what's the matter? I said, I got to go to the hospital. I had problems breathing. I had too much fluid on my body. I started, my potassium was going up, and I was getting real weak, and I couldn't make it. So I had to go straight to the hospital. I couldn't even go to Stockbridge. I went straight to the hospital. I forgot, was it Henry something? Oh my goodness, don't never go there. That's one of the worst hospitals ever. I'm telling you, I never. Oh my goodness, woo! Right, so I went there, and I was there for about 6 hours, passing out, going through it, you know, trying to get some, you know, basically almost passing out, going through it, trying to get some relief. And they didn't do anything to help me. They put me in the back in this dirty little room. It was ridiculous, y'all. And then they triaging you out in front of the open, in front of people. It was ridiculous, right? So after that, my aunt, we went straight to my cousin's house. They gave me some medication to take the potassium down. It's called K-Exolate. So if your potassium is ever high, going through the roof, where you're about to get paralyzed, they give you K-Exolate that helps to take the potassium out your body. So I took some of that, and then this was like the next day. My aunt, we was in her room, and we were just praying. And my cousin lived there too, it was her mother. And she was the one donating the kidney, but my cousin is a little older, y'all. She's like 40-something, maybe 50. And I really didn't want her donating the kidney. I'm like, nah, cuz. But she was the only option I kind of had. So, you know, I would come here, and I would check on her, and we'd build a relationship, because she was saving my life, right? So, again, I'm in the hospital one day. Next day, I'm at her house. My aunt is there making prayer. My aunt was just spiritual. So she, you know, rubbing on my back, it's going to be okay, just praying. And I'm in the back, in my head like, all right, lady, that's a little too much. You know, the rubbing in, I get the prayer, but like the rubbing and stuff, come on, you know. So she rubbing me down. You don't mind me holding you, rubbing. So she rubbing me down, touching the back of my kidneys. You know how the old spiritual people do. And so I'm taking it in, right? And right after the prayer, this no kidding, this is about probably 20 minutes later, I get a phone call. We have a kidney for you. Hallelujah. 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 And so when they told me I had a kidney, they said, you know, I'm like, really? And then they're like, yes. And then I'm like, well, is it a good kidney? They're like, it's totally healthy, right? Because this was their second kidney they offered me. The first kidney they called me a month before that, it was a person that was a drug addict. The kidney, a person had Hep C. You know, the guy was in and out of prison. And I'm on a chair in dialysis, and they called me. And, you know, they called me at the most vulnerable point in my life. I'm sitting there getting the blood drawn out of me. You know what I mean? And you get the call. They're like, you want to take this kidney or what? I said, well, can you let me call my kidney doctor real quick just to check, make sure it's okay? No, you got to tell us right now, yes or no. I was like, I said, nah, I can't do it. So I turned it down. You see, and then a month later, here I am in Atlanta, not knowing that my visit to Atlanta would be my last dialysis, period. I did dialysis when I came here. You see? And the person next to me that I did dialysis with was a famous producer who was a Hebrew Israelite. You see? Now, I went back to Charlotte, never did dialysis a day again. And it's been 4 months going on 5. So I have a lot to be grateful for and a lot to be thankful for. And so I praise y'all all the time. I give it up to him all the time. And I try not to let moments like this go when I don't express my experience. And I could go deeper into what it meant for me and what it did for me, but that's me and y'all. You know, that's me and y'all. I tell you this much, it proved to me that it's worth trusting y'all. You see? It proved to me that y'all is a healer. You see? It proved to me also that in order to have a closeness with y'all, you have to have some spiritual experiences. You can't go on the experience of your mother, how she was healed from cancer. You can't go on the experience of your father, how he was taking off drugs. And now you got to have your own experiences with y'all in order to develop that relationship. You see? And so that gave to me a lot of a great spiritual experience and conscious contact. You have to have conscious contact. See, Yah is not outside of us. We don't find Yah in places. We don't find Yah in people. Yah is in you. You see? I used to teach my children, right, when they were younger, they'd be like, where's Yah at? They'd be like, up there, Yah's everywhere, right? Now you ask them, where Yah at? They point to themselves. Because when we take Yah with us, we're different. See, when we tell people Yah's outside of us, now you can teach, you can hide from them. You see? And you ain't got to do certain things. But when we start understanding that Yah is not outside of us, but more so inside of us, that changes our whole interpretation of how we see our Creator and even our way of life. So to our elders for allowing me to stand on your shoulders, and I thank y'all for your lives being great trees in our midst. Hallelujah.